Ma'am, you may start, ma'am. It's live on Facebook. You may start. Ma'am, you may start. It's live on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Welcome to all of you to this national webinar.
Audio problem.
Deepika, with audio, we are not able to hear.
Yes, sir. Shall I start? Warm welcome to all of you to National Analysis Software. Are you able to hear me?
No,
Yes.
no, dear.
Now we can hear. Please
Your
start.
voice is cracking.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's breaking
better.
in the middle, Deepika.
Okay, ma'am.
Audio
Shall
is
I
lost.
start?
It's again lost, Deepika. We are, yeah, start. Your audio is getting lost. Yeah.
A very warm welcome to all of you to this national webinar on computer assisted qualitative data analysis. Request Dr. Lata, you may begin.
Now we will begin this webinar by invoking the blessings of the Almighty. I request all of you to join your hands together for a Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvat Swaha Tasya Vitur Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya. Now I will hand over the conduct of the program back to Dr. Deepika Rajawat.
Thank you, Dr. Lata. On behalf of Inter-University Center for Teachers Education and Department of Education, Faculty of Education and Psychology, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, I extend heartily welcome to all the attendees. A very special warm welcome goes to Professor Vignesh Shilavarsan, Faculty IIT Delhi, and Mr. Vinay George, Faculty Christ University, Bengaluru, for accepting our invitation and joining us to share their profound knowledge on the subject with us. I would like to introduce our head and dean, Professor R.C. Patel, Department of Education, Faculty of Education and Psychology, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Vadodara, also the coordinator of IUCT. He has a teaching experience of 36 years and research experience of 30 years and is an active member of different academic boards of many universities across India. He is also the member of various committees of NCTE and many other academic bodies in India. He has completed more than 28 major research projects funded by UGC, NCRT, MHRD, GCRT, and ETSIL. I now request Professor R.C. Patel for the welcome address.
Thank you very
Over
much.
to you, sir. Yeah.
Good afternoon to all. At the outset, let me welcome all of you to this two-day national webinar on mapping of computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software. I also extend a warm and special welcome to our three resource persons, Professor P. Vigneswara from IIT Delhi, Vinay George Biju from Christ University, and Aditi Arur also from the Christ University. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the learned participants to this two-day national webinar. Dear friends, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, located in Vadodara, Gujarat, was established in 1949. But prior to its establishment, this Department of Education was existing in the form of Secondary Teachers Training College, taking care of the training need of teachers in the western part of the country. This was established in 1935. And when university came into being in 1949, this became one of the two departments of the Faculty of Education and Psychology. At present, in the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, we have 14 faculties, 111 departments, offering more than 500 various programs. To name any program that is being offered by the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, and mostly all these programs are in a very highly subsidized kind of fee structure is there. These are all government sponsored program. We do offer certain programs on little higher payment mode, but largely more than these 500 different programs are offered at a highly subsidized fee structure, which anybody in the country can afford. At present, we have more than 43,000 students studying from almost all the states of the country and many other countries also. We have around 1,300 teaching faculty and 1,800 administrative staff. This Department of Education was elevated to the highest status of Center of Advanced Study in Education by University Grants Commission way back in 1963-64. Later on in late 90s, when Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was launched in the country on a massive scale, the ministry identified 39 to 41 institutions which were given responsibility of supervising and monitoring the implementation of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in the country. Our department of the MS University of Baroda was one out of these 41 identified departments or institutions which were asked to shoulder the responsibility of monitoring the implementation of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in the state of Gujarat and the Union Territory of Diu and Daman. In late 90s, when the same ministry, HRD ministry, came up with a scheme known as Centrally Sponsored Scheme of Restructuring and Reorganizing Teacher Education in the country. Under this scheme, the existing teacher training institutions were to be elevated to the higher status of either CTE, that is Colleges of Teacher Education, or IASE, Institute of Advanced Studies in Education. At present, there are 2 IASEs in the state of Gujarat. We are one of them. And very recently, in December 2017, Ministry, under the scheme of Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, has identified our department to establish one of the 2 IUCTs in the country. IUCTs are Inter-University Center for Teachers Education. And this 2-day webinar is organized under the aegis of this IUCTE. Under IUCTE, in last 2 years, we have organized various activities. We have conducted national, international seminars. We are now in the process of finalizing and publishing material for certain courses of B.Ed and M.Ed. We also have research as one of the major components in this IUCT. Under this research components, we have funded 12 major research projects to the researchers across the country. And we all know that when it comes to research, the data could be largely either qualitative or quantitative. For quantitative data analysis, many of us are aware of various software packages. SPSS is one such very popular. But as far as this qualitative data is concerned, I think many people of our age, we know only those traditional way of analyzing the data, and we have hardly used any computer software. And so these two young colleagues of our department, along with Professor Sujata, they were thinking that cannot we or should not we think of some such webinar wherein, let us try to explore the possibility of learning the software packages which might or which should help us in analyzing the qualitative data. And hence, today and tomorrow we are meeting. I must thank Professor Sujata for taking the lead, and two young colleagues, Dr. Deepika and Lata Pandey. In fact, the entire credit goes to all three of them, because it is these three people who have been since last, I think, more than 2 months. They were in direct touch with Professor Vigneswara and the other two experts. And they have also made arrangement for all this technical arrangement and all other arrangement. So with these few words, I take this opportunity on behalf of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who somehow could not join this program today. And I cannot guarantee, but let me see tomorrow if he can join. So on behalf of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Parimar Vyas, on behalf of entire MS University, on behalf of Faculty of Education and Psychology, on behalf of Department of Education, which is Center of Advanced Study in Education, Institute of Advanced Study in Education, one of the 41 monitoring institutions, and also the IUCT. And on my personal behalf, I welcome all of you, and my special welcome to Professor Vigneswara, who is the resource person for this session. Thank you very much. And once again, I welcome all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to introduce Professor Sujata Srivastav, IUCTE Assistant Coordinator, Faculty Department of Education, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. She has 20 years of teaching and research experience. She has been invited by Educators Board, US, for Global Students Teaching Program in UK. She has also been nominated by UGC for Indo-Hungarian Educational Exchange Program. She has been the member of NCTE and NAC committees and has to her credit several national and international publications. I welcome Professor Sujata to say a few words about the webinar and its theme. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Deepika, for those kind words. Professor R.C. Patel, Head Case, Dean Faculty of Education and Psychology, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, Coordinator, Inter-University Center for Teachers Education. Our resource persons for today, Professor P. Vigneshwar Ilavarsan, Mr. Vinay George, our two organizing committee members, Dr. Deepika Rajawat, Dr. Lata Pandey, and their participants. Our theme of the two-day webinar is Mapping of Computer-Assisted Qualitative Data Analysis Software. This software refers to different computer programs that have been developed to help researchers with tasks related to analysis and interpretation of qualitative data. It would help researchers in data management, data coding, data retrieval, and data metrics. The computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software helps to manage large data sources, makes analysis faster, enables to code data, and the coded data to be easily retrieved. So we can say that it really boosts the credibility of qualitative research. This two-day webinar would cover WEFT QDA, R Software, N Vivo, and D Do's. And I have also been given this another function of proposing the vote of thanks. Though we have Professor R.C. Patel, who's already, has expressed his gratitude, but I would take a few minutes and take this opportunity to express my words of gratitude. I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, Professor Parimal Vyas, who's always been an inspiring force behind all our academic endeavors. And, friends, today he's not here with us because he has this huge responsibility of conducting online examinations in MSU, which is going to begin next month. And it's for the first time, in the history of the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, online examinations are going to be conducted for this huge number of students. So extremely busy in that. And I would also like to thank Professor R.C. Patel, who's always a pillar of support, encouraging us in all our academic initiatives. And let me share with you, friends, that he's a very busy person right now. Because he heads, he's the chairperson of the examination committee. And again, he's extremely busy in planning and coordinating this huge exercise, which the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, that is online examination, is being taken for the first time. My sincere thanks to our resource persons for today and tomorrow. They have taken time off their busy schedule to be here with us. We have Professor Vignesh Ilavarsan, Department of Management Studies, IT Delhi. We have Mr. Vinay George, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Christ University, Bangalore. And tomorrow we have Dr. Aditi Arur, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, Christ University, Bangalore. My heartfelt and my deepest gratitude goes to Dr. Deepika Rajawat and Dr. Lata Pandey. Dr. Deepika Rajawat and Dr. Lata Pandey both are assistant professors here in our own Department of Education. And friends, that I really must share with you, they have been so busy planning, coordinating, working 24/7 to make today possible. And in the end, I would say that thank you, dear participants. We got an overwhelming response, and I'm sure that this is going to be a great learning experience for all of you. And with these words, I hand it over to Dr. Deepika Rajawat.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce our expert for session 1, Professor Vignesh Ilavarsan, Faculty, Department of Management Studies, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He has a passion for research and has received large research grants from DST, ICSSR, IDRC Canada, Oxford Analytica UK, IPTS European Commission, CIPPEC Argentina, Idea Corp Philippines, and the list is long. He is also a leading research fellow at Lion Asia, an ICT policy and regulation think tank. He has taught at Pondicherry Central University, IIM Rohtak, Amritsar, and Indore. His present teaching interests include social media and business practices, management information systems, business market research methods, ICT, and development. Before handing over the session to you, sir, there's a request to the participants. Participants, please, there's a request to you all that you are not to post your questions in chat box after the session as they are lost, and to post them only in Q&A box after the session. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Okay, can I begin now?
Yeah, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for a very generous introduction. I start with this thanks because I feel really honored by this invitation to deliver this webinar. I looked at the website and tried to understand about the age of the university. I feel really honored, and given an opportunity, I would like to come down physically to do this talk. But unfortunately, during these difficult times, we are able to do this. Right. Thank you very much, especially Professor Deepika for following this up and setting this up. And Professor Sujata and Lada and Professor Patel, thank you very much for introducing me and making that great setup for me to do this webinar. So with this, I will get into this talk today. When Professor Deepika called me, she said, okay, this talk is primarily for PhD students and the faculty members who are in the early stage of the career, trying to understand whether they can use any tools for qualitative data analysis. So I took that as a brief and I created certain content for this today's talk. Okay, so if I'm not clear with certain things, please, one of the panelists can tell me to repeat this. At times I go very fast. Please stop me if I'm going very fast.
Okay,
right? And towards the end of the seminar, maybe around 65 minutes or 70 minutes, I will stop for a brief Q&A. Right? Ideally, in a classroom environment, you to do the demonstration of a tool. This is also first time for me to do a demonstration for a larger audience. I'm also relatively scared and feeling concerned about this. So keeping all these things hidden, I'm trying to do this talk. All right. I would like to share my screen. My screen is already shared. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do you see it in my screen? You see a title slide?
No, sir. A picture.
Okay. Yeah, picture. I would like to share my screen in terms of.
Yeah, sir, we can see the slides.
PPT, can you see the PPT slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm going to do in today's talk is I will talk about usage of a tool called WEFT, okay, which predominantly used for qualitative text data. What is the agenda for the talk? I will talk about qualitative research 101, a brief understanding about this qualitative research so that everybody's in the same page. I will talk about why we need tools, what are the different approaches available, and I'll show some caselets which have used this particular tool. And then I'll talk about WEFT and I'll demonstrate this tool today. I already shared the required files to people and also show useful references. If somebody wants to read more about this, they can go back and look at this particular reference. This is the agenda for the talk. Before I begin, I have earlier shared this folder. Okay, can you see a folder in my, can you see a folder? Okay, I have shared this folder. Professor Deepika, you need to tell me whether you are able to see the folder.
So we are just able to see your PPT.
Okay, so earlier I have shared a folder. Just a minute. Now you can see the folder?
Yes.
Right. If you look at this folder, right, I'm talking about multiple files. Right. There is a software which is already shared with you. And there are 2 research papers which are already shared with you. They have used these particular tools. And there are some sample files. So if you click on the text files, you will end up having some text files that are useful for demonstration today. Right.
I'm going to show these files because we cannot see the files.
Okay. Just a minute. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Right. Okay. If you look at this, this is the same set of files which I have already shared with you. I looked at the Telegram. In Telegram, these files are already shared with you. Okay. What is more important here is you should have installed this software in your computer or laptop, and you should have this text files. Okay. There are 6 text files. These are sample text files that can be useful for analysis. Okay. This is very important. So this is important as I finish this theory part and I will get into this demonstration. These tools are important for you. Now I will move on to my PPT slides. Can you see my PPT slides now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So the agenda slide is visible. Yeah. Thank you, Professor. That's a good thing. Okay. If you say yes or no. Right. So first I will do 30 minutes of theory quickly. Then I will get into demonstration part of it. Okay, why qualitative research? When we were colonies, there are a lot of African countries and smaller countries that were part of the colonies. So our colonial masters sent a lot of people to understand how these primitive societies are. So when you are trying to understand about the primitive societies, you take this knowledge and give it to the civil servants. Okay, our British East India officers, when they come here, they need to know about this particular society. So you do not know anything about these people, the local people, but you want to know more about them. So you send missionaries, you send different kinds of people to understand this entire system. They will go back and wrote about this. So we call that as an ethnographic research, okay, or a phenomenological research. Without having any normative stand, try to understand what these people are and write a simple explanation or a description of whatever you have observed. Okay, that is a basis for it. Okay, so give another concrete example. Suppose my ex-girlfriend called me up today morning. I'm feeling good. All right. Now, how do you really measure this feeling good? Okay, compared to measuring fever. Okay, when you are measuring fever, your body is very warm or you're feeling the heat, you put thermometer, you are able to understand that you're having fever. Whereas feeling good, it is very difficult to measure. So you ask people, how are you feeling today? Okay, why do you think that you are feeling good? So you start explaining various things. The description becomes qualitative data. Qualitative research predominantly reject positivism. They don't believe in numbers. They don't believe in a formula that can explain things. Okay, generalizability, they're not really bothered much. It also gives a lot more depth. Okay, why this is happening, how this is happening. Try to give a lot more explanation about a particular phenomenon. The depth is given more importance. And it focuses more on unstructured or non-numerical data. We are not really talking about pie charts and frequency distributions or R square. We are really talking about some kind of unstructured data, right? So it is more like Mr. Gupta, I forgot this, I'm not able to get his name. Walk the Talk. There used to be a program called Walk the Talk in NDTV where he is doing interviews with people. That interview transcripts are available. Our Prime Minister has given a Mann Ki Baat talk, that transcripts are available. Or somebody is receiving an award for an industry, an industry leader is receiving an award. So that the award acceptance speeches are available in a text format. So these are the text we can really look at it for our analysis. So what is a major difference between qualitative research and quantitative research is the researcher. The researcher is a tool here. If you have a set of quantitative data, survey data, either you put it in an Excel sheet or you put it in R or in SPSS, okay, you end up getting similar results. Okay, the data processing is being done by the machine. The findings are given by the machine. It will say that is there a relationship between A and B? Okay, the P value is calculated. Whereas with qualitative research, that's not the case. As a researcher, you serve as a tool for analyzing the data and try to take decisions that are on the basis of the data. So there is a major difference. So this difference, we need to understand this. Automation of data analysis is not exactly possible in qualitative research. Okay, that we need to keep it in our mind. Right. I'm moving on to the next slide. Why do we need to really use these tools? Okay, now the entire idea behind this webinar is introducing these tools to people. Computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software. Okay, why are we doing it? One of the primary reasons is the journals or reviewers want them. Okay, you write a paper and they send it to them. They say that, how did you analyze the data? What are the different tools you have used? Since the reviewers are asking for it, okay, the journals are asking for it, as a researcher, there is a compulsion for us to learn about these new tools. Okay, any field if you take, it is constantly evolving. So it is important for us to know about the latest trends, methodologies, tools are being used. Okay, that is a way we are getting trained in a particular discipline. So the journals wanted them, okay, want them, the reviewers want them, so we need to learn this. Over a period of time, our access to the tools have increased. 10 years ago, we do not know anything about R or Python. It is only with the computer scientist. Now there are a lot more things are happening. It has become a little bit more democratic. People who are not having any kind of programming background, say a person like me, also can use R and Python because of there are various tools that are available in the market. And there is a lot more excitement about unstructured data, either through the social media data or other online interactions. Right? I see a movie, and in the middle of the movie, I write a review about the movie in Twitter or Facebook. So as a person, I want to know how my product is doing. Okay, when the product is being consumed, people are giving reviews about this. Right? Now, you see a lot more videos about, since you are in the education space, there are a lot more videos about students writing about, okay, how the online teaching is going on, or the kind of fun students make fun of, do of teachers or faculty members also are available. So these are kind of unstructured data. So there is a lot more usage of social media platforms, and there is a lot more data is available. So the data is available to us, and then you let to explore this. And apart from that, over a period of time, there is a wide acceptance of multidisciplinary research. Okay, now an economist or a sociologist or a computer scientist and an anthropologist coming together and doing work. So they're relatively a little bit more flexible in terms of, okay, I'm willing to understand your method and you understand my approach. So let us collaborate together, and do this kind of research. Since there is a lot of collaborations, okay, now say a computer scientist will say that, why, wonderful, nice, qualitative research is nice, but is there a possibility of replicability? Now you looked at the data, you analyze the data, is there a possibility of replicability? I repeat this, I pause a little bit and explain this a little bit. When I was doing PhD in late 90s, early 2000, if you look at any of the journals, none of the journals use any kind of tools, right? My supervisors and my teachers done qualitative research. When you go and ask them, how did you analyze the data? They said, we did manually. Okay. Now, when I ask them, if you give me the same field notes, okay, whether if I repeat the same method, what you have followed, will I end up getting similar results or not? Okay. The answer is most of the time, no. That means the same data, the same methodology you use, then also you're not able to get the same results. There are problems. Okay. So if a person who's coming from a positivist school, a person coming from economics background or a mathematics or a computer science background, they have problems related to this. Saying that, no, the replicability should be there. Okay. So I get the same data, same tools. If you apply the tools, you should be able to come up with similar results. So you start thinking in the lines of positivism, that's why you start using the tools rather than being very dogmatic and rigid about this, saying that, okay, let me use. And the last one, not to offend anyone, we are smarter than the earlier researchers, right? We need to accept the fact that our access to technologies is much, much better. And we are relatively more smarter than the earlier researchers. Your kids are smarter than you, right? We need to accept this. That is the case. I'm going to do a lot more work in a lesser amount of time. Okay, these tools are going to help me out. So these are the set of reasons why we need to use tools. Why are we using the tools? I'm moving to slide number 5. Okay, there are various approaches available. Okay, I'm going to pick up only content analysis, so because it's relatively easy to explain. Okay, in content analysis, we are talking about three kinds of content analysis. Okay, for example, okay, I talk about conventional content analysis, wherein you have unstructured interview data. Okay, where our prime minister's Mann Ki Baat radio talks are almost like an unstructured interview data. He just talks on. He talks. Okay, there are no guided questions over there. Okay, or sometimes we end up having structured interview data. We have 20 different questions, and we repeat the same sort of questions to everyone. Okay, so that's a structured interview data. The third one is you have some data where it is neither interview data nor structured. People are writing opinions like tweets, or people are writing comments below your photograph. Okay, these are different kinds of data. So when we approach this data, okay, we call it different names. We either call that as a conventional content analysis, okay, since the data is unstructured. Next is directed content analysis, because you have set of questions and people are asking only those questions are repeatedly, so you have the data. Third one is data is either here or there. You have plenty of data in terms of tweets, so you are going to pull this out and do some analysis out of it. Okay. What you do is you end up doing summative analysis. I will explain this using examples. Okay. So say, for example, I collected 10,000 tweets about a movie or a car or a mobile phone when they got introduced in the market, I would like to know what are the words are predominantly used in these tweets. So rather than trying to understand what is the meaning given in the tweets, rather the meaning given in the words, I just count the number of words. Okay, if I see a lot of awesome, okay, beautiful, okay, wonderful, okay, if I hear this kind of words are dominating in the tweets, I just counting the number of words and say that, see, the number of words are telling me anything or not. The modal nature of the words are saying anything or not. Okay, that is summative content analysis. Right. So the technical terms used in the literature are grounded theory method, template analysis, word counting, or interpretation of it. There are different technical terms are being used. I'm not going to focus on what are the different terms used here. Okay, I'm going to focus only on the WEFT. How are you going to use a tool? It is given that you are familiar with the different kinds of approaches available in qualitative research and what are the ways by which you can really analyze the data. Okay, you need to know this. All right. I'm going to the next slide. I will give some examples. So this is the paper we wrote in with my PhD student. We are trying to understand, if you look at online recruitment advertisements in the Indian software industry, do they say anything? Whether they exclude certain kind of people or not. So what do? You have a paragraph, 50 words paragraph advertisement for a particular job, programming job. You take around maybe 200, 300 advertisements and trying to see what is the advertisement is trying to say. So if you look at it, we'll come to know what is the educational qualification is being asked. We'll also know what is the kind of social skills and moral skills are being asked. Okay, say for example, trustworthy, team building, okay, ethical. So those kind of things are being asked. Okay, so if you look at this, if a person, if you look at IT industry, it is not exactly it is women friendly, or a person who's coming from the disadvantaged groups are very easily absorbed in the industry. Existing research says that these people are excluded. So we try to make an argument saying that the existing industry excludes people by just looking at this advertisements. If the advertisement clearly say communication skills are very important, 50% of the people are saying. Now, who are the people who are likely to have better communication skills, either from an urban background or from a higher class background? So if you are from a semi-urban rural background, you are likely to be excluded. So without speaking to a single person, by looking at the advertisements, we are able to make some observations. Right. The second example is we try to understand multinational companies when they start R&D or research and development centers in India, what really happens. Right. So we looked at various press releases given by these particular companies, wherever the newspaper report says something about these particular companies. Then we try to understand what is the nature of work being done. So when a company says, Zoom has said that we are going to have a development center in Bangalore. This is yesterday's news. So when you go through this particular newspaper report and try to understand why Zoom is creating a development center in Bangalore, is it for research, or is it for the customer support, or it is for training purposes, or they're silent about this? Okay, so we try to understand, say for example, there are tall claims saying that we are research-oriented centers are plenty in Bangalore. Okay, so we are trying to test this hypothesis, whether it is a research-oriented center, or it's just a development center, or it's just a training center. So since we do not have any access to the Zoom representatives, okay, those newspaper reports are useful in understanding. Okay, so you are going over it and trying to understand. So we summarized saying that we don't have 60% of this particular newspaper clippers do not say anything. So we do not know what is the nature of these particular centers. Third example, we looked at tweets that are coming from Uber and Ola. We used the hashtags Uber and Ola, try to pull out and see, okay, what people are talking about this particular tweets. We just did a frequency distribution. Okay, we call that as a word cloud or a tag cloud. So we try to understand what people are really speaking about. So if you look at this, and Ola, the time, book, and the look, these other words are being used more. Whereas in Uber, people talk about email, app, driver, and ride. So different kinds of themes are emerging. That tells us these are the possible directions you can take for analysis. Then we looked at these tweets and tried to do an analysis of a content analysis with using an algorithm called LDA algorithm. And we looked at the service quality parameters. Is it possible for us to match the nature of the tweets and the service quality dimensions, whether we can match this or not? We tried to do this here. So if you look at this, these are the different examples for how are we using this qualitative data in our research and try to publish it. Okay, at the end of the day, what is more important is whether you are able to publish this or whether your reviewers and editors like this analysis, these tools or not. So we are using WEF, NVivo, R, and we are using simple interview data. We are looking at advertisements and we are looking at tweets. Okay, these are the nature of the data and the methodologies are different and tools are different. So this clarity we need to get this. Okay, this is about the examples. I will also do the demonstration of WEF as we go along. Another 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I will do the WEF demonstration. Okay, this is my last slide. How do I really go about doing this? Fine, you have introduced the tool, but how do I go about doing this? Okay, one of the easiest ways of learning is you pick up the seminal papers in the area. Okay, in your area, which paper is very most cited? People say that is very difficult to publish in that particular place, but somebody has published in that place. So you read those papers. You can be dependent on your thesis supervisor, or you just look at which paper is published in the journal which is having a high impact factor. Okay, high impact factor journals. Okay, what papers are produced, you look at that particular papers. And easiest way of doing is emulate the methodology, that is tools and analysis and writing. What is the nature of the tools used on the paper? Try to see whether I can use the same thing. What is the nature of analysis being done? Can I replicate this? What is the style of writing? Whether I can emulate that particular style or not. Okay, we don't really need anyone to guide your PhD thesis. You pick up one research paper, okay, which is published in a place very difficult to publish, and try to emulate it in a small scale study and see, learn it. Once you learn it, you understand what it takes to do this kind of study. Then you go forward with your main study. These are the few books I really like. You can have a look at it. Earl Barbie gives a very easy introduction of qualitative research. Creswell talks about 5 different traditions, which is a pretty nice book. Corbin and Strauss' book on grounded theory method is a very nice book to look at it. Since grounded theory method is popular in many journals, you can also look at them very seriously. Or if somebody wants to have an easy reading, I would say that you look at O'Reilly's book on ethnographic methods. I would say it's more like a dummy's guide. You can look at this. Or if somebody says, no, I don't believe in all these things, I would like to read some classic work, you can look at, Street Corner Society. So these are the books you can look at it that help you in getting a better understanding of qualitative research. And the first 3 points will help you in approaching the tools. Okay, that's the background context. Okay, now I will take a pause for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If you have any questions, you ask me. I will respond to that. And then I will go and demonstrate this tool. Okay. Any reference to the narrative research? You look at the Creswell's book, which basically explains everything. Narrative research is also being covered under that. Okay. The tools are independent of the research methods what you use. Okay. Whether it is a narrative research or a grounded theory method or a template research or phenomenological research, any research you can do. Okay, any of the tools can be used on any of these particular approaches. So don't worry about this. Okay, people say qualitative analysis is more subjective. Okay, these basic questions about qualitative research, you should go back and read in a textbooks. Don't come here. Okay, this webinar is only for demonstrating the tools. Okay, if you do not get an idea about qualitative research, do not waste your time on this particular webinar. Okay, this is about a tool. You have some understanding about the qualitative research, then only we are coming here, because you are familiar with the method, you are familiar with the data, but you are facing problems in analysis of the data. Okay, so I would like to focus more on the analysis of the data and tools used. The basic questions related to what is qualitative research, whether it is subjective or not, this all done extensively in the existing research papers. Okay, we can have a look at it. Scientific calculations, some of the tools can be useful, not the tool. The next question is whether this tool can be used for scientific calculations. Yes. In vivo, okay, or QDA minor, they have some tools that there are some functions that are available by which you can do the scientific calculations, but with WEFT you cannot do this. Okay, this is a simple software. Okay, I will take one more question, and after that I will move on to the demonstration. All right. Now, what will I do is I will demonstrate a tool now. So it is important for you to see my screen. Okay. Now, what do you see it in my screen? Can you see a WEFT QDA window?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir, we
great.
can see it.
Okay. Now, what is more important here is in this folder, when I click on the text files, I have 6 text files. That text files you should have access. And this particular right-hand side, this particular tool should have been installed in your machine. Okay. Now, I have also opened one more PDF file. Can you see the PDF file?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you see
Yes,
yeah.
sir, we can see it.
Wonderful. In the PDF file, I have given some bullet points. Okay, I'm going to more or less follow this PDF file. So even if you miss it, you should be able to go back and try to understand how does this work. Okay, for instance, in the first one, I'm saying web test came in which year. It is useful for structured and unstructured text data. You can use plain text and PDF files. It's an open source software. It has a 35 pages manual and is less complicated. All right. So when I was doing postdoc, I did around 100 interviews with people. I traveled all around India. So I had around 1,000 pages of data. I wanted to do some analysis of it. So I was looking around and I was able to find this tool, and it is very useful. Okay, those days we did not have access to other tools. I learned this tool, and this tool, if you are able to get the logic behind using this tool, it is relatively easy for you to apply the same knowledge in other tools like say NVivo or QDMI. You can apply it in anywhere you want, right? So how do you install a tool? Here I'm saying that you need to Google for it and install it. Whereas in the folder which I shared with you, the exe file is already shared with you. You should be able to install that in your machine. Okay. Now, what is more important here? Next, I'm saying, if you look at the text files, the files which I'm using to show that how this software works, okay, I'm talking about 7 files here, okay. If you click on the first file, it opens up. If you look at this, all the files are in text format, okay. So you need to have files in text format for this software. Okay, there are other software which can read images, which can read video, but this software cannot read. Okay, so when you click on this, Bill Gates, if you look at this, okay, by looking at the name of the file, what do we understand? What do we get? Anyone from the group? What do we get out of this? Just double click on one of those text files and tell me what this file can be. Correct. Mr. Kinjal says that seems to be a convocation speech. Exactly. Correct. Thank you. So when you look at this, you have 6 people, 7 people, they have gone to a university, they're given a convocation speech. Now I want to do analysis. I'm a qualitative researcher. I'm trying to understand when successful people come to a convocation, what do they tell people? Okay, what do they tell graduating students? Lot of times our students, when they are studying, okay, we are behind good jobs and good money, good locations. And the same set of students, when they graduate and they come back to university to give a convocation speech or something after 20 years or 30 years, they say money is not everything. Okay, it is very important that you need to look for opportunities to grow. Okay, it is very important that you need to enjoy your job. Family is very important. People speak different things. They always say that don't get driven by money. Okay. Now, I'm a researcher and I'm interested in knowing what these successful people would like to convey to, say, graduating students. Okay, this is my research question. Okay, what do they highlight? When they look back, what do they highlight? What do successful people highlight when they come to universities? Okay, if this is my, say, for example, research question. Now, I will not get an appointment from Bill Gates or Larry Page. I will not get a Jeff Bezos. I will not get an appointment as an individual researcher. So I will look for these convocation speeches and I have access to these transcripts and I will try to do some analysis on it. So that's my research question. Okay, so I do not have any control over what these people spoke or can speak. So whatever data I have, I need to do analysis. Imagine if you are collecting data ladders from 100 people, so you are going to have at least 100 pages of data. So if people have spoken for a very longer time, and we are trying to do analysis of it, the number of pages will increase. Okay, so the context behind this particular demonstration here is to show you how this particular tool works. And I'm giving an example of this particular text files. These text files are basically convocation speeches. And we are trying to understand what these people normally highlight when they come for convocations. Okay, this is an American context. Am I clear? All right. Now, when I look at, okay, so when I look at, I see a couple of other questions flowing in. I will take these questions towards the end. I will take only the relevant questions at the moment. The rest of the questions I take towards the end. Okay, so when I click on this WEFT, okay, are you able to see this WEFT file? Okay, so okay, thank you, Professor. Wonderful. I have a wonderful, motivated student with me. Right, right, right. Okay. Now, so what do is I click on File, I open New Project. When a new project comes, I have one more window pops up. So if I look at it, which can be resized a little bit if you want. You can resize it the way you want. You can move around a little bit. You can do it the way you want. You can move around. So what do I have is, I have this one particular box, one particular window, small window. In that I have 2 boxes. The third one is I have a bigger box. So basically I'm talking about 1, 2, and 3. 3 boxes. All right. Right. In the 3 boxes, if I were to take an analogy for this particular tool, okay, I would say that as a kitchen. Okay. I assume that everybody must have entered a kitchen in your life, right? You must have entered a kitchen in your life. When I see a lot of women colleagues in the panel, I'm sure that okay, they know much more better than the male colleagues. If you're going to use this typical patriarchal setup, an Indian patriarchal setup. All right. Now, what is more important here is this is almost similar to a a kitchen, right? In the kitchen, this is the place, okay, where we go to big bazaar or we go to a retail store and buy our groceries and raw material and bring it to our house. So in our house, we have some place, either a corner of the kitchen or the below the wash basin or below the different places. We have small cupboards. We will keep. Okay, say for example, sugar. If we buy 2 kg, we don't keep the 2 kg sugar nearby the burner. We keep it in a small container. The big container sugar goes somewhere else. Okay, this is the place where you are going to keep all your raw material. Okay, and this is the place where all your cooking happens. This is your burner. This is the place where you chop your vegetables, you put your burner, you cook everything. Okay, this is a place. So you open this place, take the raw material and bring it to this place and you cook them. Okay, am I making sense?
Yeah, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Now this is the place. Okay, in a corner of your kitchen, there is a place where you keep the cooked things. Okay, in your corner of your kitchen, you are keeping some cooked things. Say, for example, if you cook, say 2 kg of biryani, okay, chicken biryani, if you're cooking, all right. So your biryani rice and masala, chicken, everything is here. You bring it here, you clean, you put everything, and you have cooked it. All right. Where do you keep this cooker? You keep it in this place. Okay. Sometimes you transfer the cooked biryani from your cooker and keep it in a larger bowl. Okay. Am I making sense?
Yeah, sir.
Right.
Sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where is the dining table? What is dining table here? Which is your dining table? Okay. Where is your dining table?
Is it the place where you have kept the cooked material?
Yes. Okay. That is not exactly dining table. Dining table is here outside the software. Your research paper, your research report. Okay. Your research paper and research report is the dining table. You are serving to people. Right. Now, whatever is cooked, whatever is data is collected, whatever you analyzed, you are going to keep it with you. Okay. And only little bit of it will go to the research paper. Okay. Say, for example, if I call 3 people for food, okay, and I cooked some food, right? And if there is a leftover food, okay, I cooked 2 kg of biryani, but I ended up serving a lot more snacks, so people are not touching the main course. What do I do with the leftover food? What do we do with the leftover food? I mean, normally in your this is not even a research question. What do we do with the leftover food in our house? Suppose there was a feast. What do you do with the leftover food? You keep it in the refrigerator. Sometimes you will call somebody else for food, right? Okay, the first day eating, there is a good food is there. Second day lunch, you call someone else for food. They do not know the food got cooked yesterday. All right, you collect data for one project, and how many research papers you produce? More than one. You are giving to multiple people, not necessarily in one paper. You give away entire food and you throw the rest of the food. No, you take a little bit of food, serve it in one group of people, you serve it in different kinds of people, you serve differently. Okay, not necessarily you need to demonstrate that this is entire food is available, take it. No, we take it in a small container, take it to this dining table, we serve little by little. Okay, same logic applies here. Whatever data you have collected, not necessarily the entire data has to go in single research paper. Okay, it can be, okay, the data can be divided across multiple research papers. Whatever data I have collected, not necessarily everything has to be given to one person. You need to divide this up, right? Now, So this place, in this place, okay, this looks messy. It is not looking beautiful and nice. The dining table looks nice, but not in this place. So when you look at the corner of your kitchen, if you look at your burner, everything looks haphazard, looking chaotic. Okay, you do not, 5 people are coming to eat, you do not know what is happening in the kitchen. Lot more things. Unless and until you are trained to this, you will not know, okay, what is happening. So, right? So what is really happening? What do you see it in the research paper in terms of presentation is a very refined, cleaned version of your work, right? There are a lot more, okay, messier things are happening in the software, in your research lab or in your table. That is not known to people outside. Maybe you could 3 dishes, 1 dish did not go well, you did not even give it to a guest. So the research paper will not know that, okay, you collected data on other things also, but it is not presented here. Okay, your guest might feel that food is very good. Okay, but you have presented only the good things to one person. Okay, same logic applies. Now I'm taking you back into the software. Okay, now where do you bring this text files in the software now? Where do you bring this text files? Where do you bring the text files? Which place? Right, wonderful. Somebody saying importing. Okay, so people are now getting it clearly. It's very simple, right? You click on import, right? It is like any other Word document, right? You go and select all, okay? Either you say Control A or Shift select. You select everything. You just open this, right? What I'm doing, I click on import. It goes to your window and you import all the files into the software. Okay, are you able to do it? Right. Right. Now, I need some assurance whether I'm going or not, going fine or not. Okay, document import. Right. Are you able to import all your files into the software? Like how I have done. What do you see it in the screen?
Yes,
Somebody
sir.
say,
We can see the files.
say yes, no, or somebody should type, yeah, it's possible. Otherwise,
Yes,
it's
sir,
very
yes,
difficult to, yeah, okay. So when I click on Bill Gates and I click on view, okay, I get it in the right side. So I click on Bill Gates and I click on view, I get it in the right side. Okay. When I look at the right side, okay, my entire file is available here. Okay. Now, if you look at my web notes, okay, it is saying coding option 1. I'm going by coding option 1, coding option 2, coding option 3. All right, coding option 1. Okay, I'm saying here, okay, you need to open one file by one file. Okay, now before that there's a small step. Okay, what is this small step? All right, let me look at your comments. All right, now categories, can you see it is highlighted here? Categories. Categories are equal to codes or themes. Okay, what do you see it in qualitative research papers? Right? A person has come and a person has spoken for say 45 minutes, 30 minutes. Now I want to divide this entire talk into maybe 3 or 4, okay, themes or categories. Okay. My earlier research question was, I'm trying to understand when successful people come to university, right? What do they speak on? What do they highlight? Okay. Now, your open question is, when a Bill Gates kind of person comes and gives a convocation speech, Okay, when if a vice chancellor comes and says something to the students, what do they highlight? What is the existing theory says, or what is your guess? What do they speak on?
So let's see in Q&A.
Yeah, I can see it in Q&A. People can type in. The last one is somebody saying document import. No, that's not the answer. I'm looking for, what do people speak? If I'm a researcher and I have this qualitative data in my hand, I want to do analysis. But before getting into analysis, I would like to know what are the motivate. They talk about students who made it big. Okay, passion. So these are the basically categories. These are themes. So I would say one theme, I click on categories, I click on new, I say passion. Okay, so there is a category created here. Okay, somebody said motivate. Okay, say for example, motivate. Okay, some leaders will say, oh, you need to take care of your family is very important. Say family. Okay, so if you look at Filmfare Awards, most of the time when people win an award, they come to the stage. Who are the people they thank? Do they thank? If an actress wins an award, whom she thanks? Whom does she thank? No guesses. You guys don't see television. It's only OTT. It's only about Indian marriages, right? Right. So women thanks. Yeah, women actor are a person who, when they win an award.
They are answering, sir. The production house, director, family and friends, the ones who had made her reach that position, and directors.
Yes, very nice. Okay, and when a male wins an award, whom do they thank? Is there a difference? Is there a difference between a
No.
no differences? Okay, how come somehow I get only swag? Okay, role model. Rest of the people I'm not able to see. Okay.
Their body languages differ, somebody is saying.
Body language. Whom do they thank? So when a woman wins an award, she always comes and talks about family. If she's married, she'll say, husband supported me a lot. Mother supported me a lot. When a male wins an award, very rarely they come and speak about family. Okay, you do not see a male member clearly saying that because of my wife only I got this award. Okay, it's very rare. Okay, men give lot more importance to non-family related issues. Women give lot more importance to family. Okay, this is what the existing research says. Okay. The ideological debate we can take it later, but this is what the research says. Right now, so family, whether there is leaders come and say family is important, take care of your people, or do they talk about you should be God-fearing, okay, ethical? Okay, do they talk about ethics? Now, I end up creating 4 categories. All right, 4 categories. Now, these 4 categories can come from existing research. Your idea, your understanding about the literature, how you have read about the literature, or it can come from your intuition. If it is purely coming from your intuition, when you go back to theory and try to understand, are they talking about the same thing, and try to explain it and come back to the data, it becomes grounded theory method. If it is the existing theory or the literature always talks about 4 categories, I'm using it directly. It is not grounded theory method because your themes are already clearly given to you. Right? Then we call that as a template analysis. Now, what is more important here is we have 4 categories, 4 themes. Now, what is the next step? What you are supposed to do? Now, I have the data in my hand. And these are the 4 areas this possibly people can speak. Right? What is the next step? And somebody is saying they're given introduction, their email ID, they're given their phone number. Okay, that is not acceptable. You don't use this as a dating app, right? Okay, we are talking, right? Nobody is interested in you, right? Let's talk about, when we talk about this, what is the next step? You have the data in the hand and you have the 4 categories you are really talking. What is the next step?
Is it now the software analyze the entire text with reference to these 4 categories?
No, the software will not do. Okay, somebody is saying coding, start coding, right? Next. So when you look at this, now here the software comes to play. Okay, I will explain to you. Okay, thank you very much, Professor. Now it comes. Now one is you start manually, then over a period of time you can do a little bit of automated analysis. Okay. Now for instance, my coding thing says, okay, open one file by one file, then mark appropriate paragraphs into categories. What do I do? Suppose I read this first paragraph. Okay, now I see that, okay, somebody is talking about, I'm a bad influence, they dropped out of the business. Okay, I feel that this one is related to motivation. So I highlight this text, I click on motivate, and I say mark. Okay, I repeat, I highlight this, I click on this motivate. Then when I click on the motivate here, it appears here as a motivate and I mark it. When I mark it, I have this here. It has become blue. That means that particular content has been marked as something, motivate. Now the next paragraph, when I read, I get a feel, oh, this is related to, say, family. I'm just giving an example. So I click on family, I mark it, right? Then I go to the next paragraph and see, oh, this is related to passion. Then I mark it. A paragraph can go in multiple categories. Okay, you can do this. Now, I do this for the entire document, long document. Qualitative research is also about reading and rereading multiple times. You are looking at your data, especially when you are doing qualitative research. So when I highlight this and I say, okay, this is related to, say, for example, ethics. Now, Bill Gates is done. Now I'll open Chuck Norris. Okay. So I will repeat the same thing for Chuck Norris also. I will look at the paragraph. I highlight it. I click on a category and I mark it. Okay. Now I read next paragraph. So it is related to family, then I mark it. Okay, right? So this I done for, assuming that I done for the entire data. Now I click on Jeff Bezos. I highlight it. It is related to family. I mark it. Right? Then I highlight this and I motivate this. I mark it. Okay. Now, so I have done for all the files. Okay. Now, when I click on passion and I click on view, what do I get?
Sir, all the notes that you marked
Yes.
for under the passion.
Yes. When I click on this, in one single page, okay, wherever I have marked Bill Gates, Chuck Norris, everything comes in single page, right? Now that means I have looked at the entire data. Now that data is divided into multiple baskets, and I pick up one basket or one category and see what is being written in this, all right? Now in the passion, there is a possibility that he is talking about 2 different things. They say either it should be related to hobby, you should be passionate about your hobby, or you should be passionate about your work. Now, so what I'm doing, first level of coding, we call that as a primary coding. Now the passion, I want to re-look at it. Okay, I want to create some more categories. I click on passion, I click on new, and I say hobby. Right? So this is subcategories. Okay, this becomes subcategory. Right? I can click one more, say work. Right? You can have any amount of categories and subcategory depending upon your depth of data. If you have done a qualitative interview and the depth of the data it is not there, you cannot go to second level, third level, because people have not spoken in deep. Right? The depth of the data will allow you to go for different levels of analysis in terms of hierarchy. There are questions that people are asking whether I can do two. Say, for example, I click on Bill Gates. Say, during our discussion in this, I am clicking it as a passion. Okay, it is gone on a passion. And again, I'm clicking it as a, say, for example, as a part of the family. You can do it. Same paragraph can go in multiple themes. No problem at all. Okay. People say, suppose you are trying to understand mentorship in a university system. Okay, somebody says when I joined my PhD program, it was quite difficult. My senior PhD student helped me a lot. He helped me to understand how do I go to library. He has spoken everything. And the second stage, my thesis supervisor helped. Okay, now a theme can be related to mentorship, can be related to fellow PhD student. A theme can be related to a thesis supervisor. The same paragraph is being put in 3 different themes. That is possible. Okay, in qualitative research, you can have this kind of overlapping, right? Now, what I did is coding option 1. I opened one file by one file. I marked all appropriate paragraphs into categories. Then I did for all the files. Then I opened the category. From the category, I can shift it to my report. Now, when I look at it, I will understand. Okay, I click on passion. I will understand what my data is saying about passion. Okay, as represented by this senior industry leaders when they come to my university for convocation speeches. Okay. Now, if I want to do a further analysis within the passion, I can go deep dive into it. So suppose I'm talking about large scale of data, I can think of at least 4 research papers using the same data. One on focusing on passion, another one is related to motivation. I can do that. Right. Now, right. Okay. Any questions? Am I going okay? See, teaching online, especially about a tool, is also new to me. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask. A little bit of, thank you, Professor. Little bit of computer efficacy is important. Suppose you do not know what is Word document. If you do not know right click, left click in a mouse. If you do not know what is a screen, it is going to be very difficult for you to do this too. Your computer knowledge is assumed to be above average when you want to do this analysis. Some of us are wired differently. You download a software, you uninstall it, you install it and you just look at the functions. Without looking at the manual, you are able to understand it. For these people, it's relatively easy. For the rest of the people, you need to follow different process. Right?
So we are going to take Q&A at the end also.
All right, wonderful. Okay. Right, now I will go to the next coding option 2. Okay, this is what I'm going to cover in now. In coding option 2, right, I say you need to click on the search bar. Okay, so I go to the software again, close this. I go to the search bar and I click on search and I get a box. Now in the first coding option 1, I'm going by file. In the second option, I'm getting lazy. Actually, I don't feel like reading all the 100 documents. Okay. Now I want to, without reading, I want to code. Okay. That means, what are the words that can be possibly related to passion? Okay. For example, family. Let me take the case of, say, family. Which words I should use, okay, to search for paragraphs that are using those words. Say, for example, mother. Okay. People talk about their mother in the convocation. If somebody is used a term called mother in their convocation speech, I know that that paragraph can be related to family. So when I click on mother and I say 200 characters, when I say mother, 100 characters above, 100 characters below, okay, gets picked up. Okay, I can say whether it is a case sensitive or whole words. I click on search. Okay, what is happening here? Right now, if you look at it, there is a Bill Gates, and there is a copy of the Bill Gates. I'm trying out some another file. The rest of the people have not used the term mother in the okay. Okay, what is a inference? Right? People did not speak about mom. Okay, that means the references related to the family may not be there in my data. Okay, that is an inference. Now I say that, so, okay, why should I talk about mom? Let me talk about father. Okay, whether people speak about father. Okay, now if you look at it, there are a lot more people are giving some references related to father. Okay, so if you look at it, Bill Gates, Chuck Norris, Larry Page, at least 3 people have spoken about the father. That means there are a lot more references. So if I'm able to skillfully use certain keywords, okay, I should be able to pull out the data that is spread across different data file. Okay, somebody suggesting you should look for mom and dad, okay, or mummy, okay, right? Will it, right? Now this tool cannot use synonyms. You need to every time write what you want to write here. Whereas tool like NVivo and QDO Miner, if you write mother and you tell this tool, look for all the synonyms related to mother. Say mummy, mom, okay, motherly, all these words will get picked up. Okay, there is a collection of words will be used for searching. Whereas a Rift is a free software, so it will use only one keyword, right? What is the logic behind this? I repeat, rather than going by file, you are using keywords by which you are able to pull out the data, okay, paragraphs or transcripts that are present in all the files. Suppose you are using 100 different data, all the different 100 data files will be searched for that particular keyword and given to you in single file. So when I click on this searches, here, right, it is almost similar to a particular category. So when I click on the mother, now rather than going over the entire file here, I'm going over only the parents related transcripts to understand whether it is related to family or not. The amount of work I do is got reduced. The entire content can be stored as family. My entire content can be stored as family. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Right. So if I'm feeling lazy, I can use this entire content as a particular category types or a theme type. Okay. Node, code, theme. These are the multiple different terminologies are being used. In this software, it is used as categories. In NVivo, you call that as a node. Okay. In QDO Miner, it is going to be used something else. You pick up a different software, they'll end up using different words. but the logic structure of the software is more or less same. Okay. Am I clear? Right. Now, the coding option 3 is, right, I go to search and I click on query. Okay. When I click on query, I get a different window. Okay. I get, let me just expand this a little. Right. If I click on this, okay, I repeat, I click on search, I click on query. Okay, I get this window. Now, in this, there is a Boolean operator. Okay, if you click on the right hand side, there is a thing called Boolean operator, or, and not. We should know what is it. Okay, say when I say or, and if I give two words, okay, either of the words can be present in a paragraph. I will pull it out. Okay, or means either of them, and means both the conditions should be present. Okay, so read a little bit about what is this Boolean operators. Okay, those who do not have a mathematical background, this is important. So what I'm saying here, when I click on this, I get two options. Is coded by, contains a word. Is coded by means I'm talking about a particular category, right? So I can write here passion. Okay, and I say and contains a word. Say for example, hard work. Okay, what does it mean? It means the software will look for a word called hard work, okay, within passion. Okay, is coded by passion, is coded by, okay, passion, contains the word hard work. Okay, this is the two combinations I'm using. Suppose you want to use a different combination. So it's again is coded by family and or. That means I take two categories, passion and family, and within that I'm going to use some word. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Right, right. So what I'm trying to do here is, rather than searching a document by document, rather than searching for only one keyword, I'm using a combination of keywords, right? I can go up to 10 levels. Okay. Suppose, say for example, I say, sorry. Okay, it's coded by passion or contains the word, say, God. And I say view, okay, now it comes. Right? So you click on this, it tells me you are looking for things related to God and passion. Okay, within or, why? Or means what? It either in the passion category or wherever people have spoken about God, it has come. Okay, this is the resultant. Okay, this is the resulting text that is coming out of all the 7 files. Okay, 7 files is just an example. You can have 100 files. All right, and you can have multiple levels. Okay, say for example, when I collected data from 100 IT small software entrepreneurs, right, I want to know which company does product development, and within that, do they hire PhD students? When they hire PhD students, do they do training? Okay. Now, in order to understand whether companies are doing a product development work, whether they hire PhDs, whether they do training or not. In order to understand this, okay, I used query. So I say, okay, product, one term. The second term, PhD. Third term, training. Fourth one, domain. So out of my research, I realized the companies that are working on telecom space, they are trying to do some work related to product development. When they do product development, they try to hire PhD students. So those paragraphs that are related to multiple themes, okay, will be shown as results here. If you have a larger data set and you are familiar with the keywords, you should be able to do this. Okay, you should be able to do this. So for example, I'm saying in my research, mix open query from search option, that's one. You mix and match keywords to pick up the paragraphs, okay, pick up the appropriate paragraphs. Suppose if I'm interested in knowing about the workforce, if I want to write a paper related to workforce, these are the set of keywords I need to use. Okay, based on my understanding of the data, based on my understanding of the literature review. Then you mark them into existing categories. Okay, this is much better than coding option 1 and 2, right? Because it makes your life a little bit easier. So when Professor Patel asked me whether they do automatically, this is the level of automation that is possible in this software. Okay, now the capacity of other software is slightly different. Okay, how this is different? Suppose in NVivo, I have done for, suppose I collected data from 100 people and I done this data analysis for 10 people, and I can tell the software, repeat the same thing for 90 people. Okay, you don't have to do manually. Okay, there is a thing called automated coding. You say that, okay, I have done this when you have this kind of keywords and this kind of paragraph, this is the way I coded. Now repeat this for the rest of the 90 people. You can do that in NVivo. Okay. If your programming skills are very good, you can use the R. You can use the Python. You can write program saying that whenever people are speaking in this particular lines, it should be coded automatically like this. Okay, it should be coded automatically like this. This is coding option 3. Okay, and what are the other things I need to show is, from the categories, you can view more lines from the document. Okay, for example, right, when I click on hobby or passion, now this sentence seems to be incomplete. I'm not able to understand it. So what do I do is, in the passion category, I double click on it. It will go to the main file. Right, so we see here again, passion is a category. I click on it and it will go to Bill Gates file. Right? Right? It goes to Bill Gates file. Text file is here. Right? From one file to another file, I can go. From the category to the data file, I can go. Right? You can also create categories within the categories. Okay, you can, from the categories, you can copy everything into a notepad for reviewing and incorporating in the report. You can do it if you want to. Okay, the next option is code review. Okay, what do you mean by code review? I click on search, I click on review coding, and I get a table like this. Okay, if you look at this table, and the top it is saying select categories, and I say add as row or add as columns. Suppose I click on passion, I click it as add as row, it has come here. Now I write family there and I click on add as column. Okay, it has gone here. And I say display options, number of paragraphs or the number of characters. Okay, for example, I'm using number of passages. And I click on it, it gives me a number of 2. Suppose I use another, and I use the call ethics, and I give me a 0 value. What is the inference? What is the inference? What is the inference? Q&A.
Lots of messages.
Lots of messages. Okay, now I'm not able to see those messages.
Nothing related to inference.
Right. Okay. Right. Now I will come back to this. Okay. People who are asking me questions, try to ask questions related to what is being discussed. I will respond to your queries, open queries later. Okay. Right.
Weightage of
Wait.
the sections, lack of passion in family.
Yes. It tells me that passion and family are related. The two tells me passion and family are more related compared to the relation between the passion and ethics. A same paragraph is being used in two different themes. That basically tells me they are related to each other. Okay, so ethics is not related to passion. Okay, somebody is saying that. Exactly. But it tells me about the directions of my data, but it will not tell me, I cannot use these numbers in my report. I cannot say there is no relation between passion and ethics because the score is 0. And the relation between the passion and family is weak, but the score is 2. No. Right? So, right? Or I can have that the family and ethics are not related. We are talking about only when you touch on this cell is talking about family and passion, not between these two. All right. So this tells me what are the overlappings that are happening in my data. Okay, what category is being in relation with the other category, I'm able to understand. Okay, so this tells me that. Okay, not for reporting it in your paper, not for reporting it in your paper. Okay, and you need to save the project all the time. Okay, if there is a power cut and the system is gone or something like this, the entire analysis what you have done goes for a waste. There is no auto saving. Okay, so this is about demonstration. Right now, the few additional insights on this software. This software is a free software. Right, it uses text data. It will not do a lot more automated one. NVivo can do. QDO miner can do. The difference is if Weft QDO is like an auto rickshaw, QDO miner is more like a car, a high-end car. Okay, right. That means if you need, when you get something for free, you will not get much functions, but will still help you to move from one place to another place. I take an auto rickshaw from my home, I can reach my office. Okay, I can also drive my car. Okay, but to have that car, I need to have that money. Okay, and I need to have the skills to drive the car. Okay, Weft is like an auto rickshaw. NVivo, QDO miner, and R is different. Right? You need to have the skill, you need to have that money, you need to have that time and resources to learn. The more you learn, okay, you drive better, you reach faster, you participate in competitions and win prizes. Okay, but if you are looking for everything for free, you will get only those limited ones. R is free, Python is free, but you need to have that skill set. I see people from social sciences background do not have programming skills. So it's high time that you can also look at some programming skills so that overall you are able to undertake this kind of research. Overall, you are able to undertake this kind of analysis. Okay.
Pardon, sir? Pardon, sir? So
yeah.
How long are we going to take?
Okay, from my side, this is done. I'm open for questions. Okay, what time I need to stop, Deepika?
Sir, maybe 10 minutes more?
10 minutes more. I can respond
along with Q&A. Yeah.
Yeah. I can open to the questions now.
So you can complete this if you were proceeding with this family and ethics, the two.
Yeah. So the coding review basically tells me about what is the relationship between different categories in my data. That's all I wanted to say this. Okay, so if we go back to my my PDF manual, the last point is I'm talking about you need to save the project all the time. Whether you like it or not, you need to keep on saving it. When you save it here, when you save the project, it opens up, you can save it wherever you want. In the format of the file is .qdp. Can you see here? This is the format of the file. Okay. So from my side, demonstration is done. Okay. If you have any questions, ask me. I will respond to this for another 10 minutes.
So you'll take the question, you'll read the question and question from Q&A,
Yeah.
or should I read?
Yeah. I can, there are lots of questions. Okay. Right. Somebody's already said thank you. So, right. Right. Carrying lecture. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. Can we say data analysis quality is better in other software besides the function? Of course. NViewer is better. MaxQDA is better. And QDA Miner is better, but you need to pay money. Okay. You can use images. You can use videos and other things. MaxQDA is also good. I haven't used it, but I looked at the review. It is fine. Okay.
So any references on narrative research they are saying?
Narrative research, you just look at the Creswell's book, the book that is given in the last page of my list. You can have a look at it. Idea here is you look for a research paper that use narrative analysis, look at the cross references, whichever references they have used, you pick up those references and read. That's one of the easiest ways of doing it. Okay. Any questions? Can you see the questions scrolling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody is saying, do we need to type the content notepad only, or we can import Word file? You can import PDF and notepad. Okay. You cannot do Word file. Word, it is not permitted in this software. Okay. But NVivo allows Word import. No problem at all. Okay, any other questions? Somebody is asking, what is WEFT? Is it an abbreviation? No, it is not. WEFT is when you see a weaver, when the person pulls this, okay, there is a small device moves from the left to right. So you have vertical thread. The WEFT is the one it goes, okay, in between these vertical lines. It makes threads into a cloth, okay. That particular small piece is called WEFT. So the name of the software is WEFT. Okay, any other questions related to with the help of the categories, can it help summarizing the data? Yes, you can do that. Okay, can we do trend analysis using the software? Trend analysis involves multiple time periods, and we are talking about data that is seen in the multiple time periods. If you have multiple interviews done with the same person over a period of time, you can do trend analysis, but the insights are being generated by the researcher. What about philosophical research? Of course, you can do philosophical research. This is just a tool. It's completely left to you. You can also do literature review with this. Can we have percentages of how many people are given answers in one category? That you need to calculate. WEF does not permit, whereas in NVivo, you can also calculate frequencies. Why I'm not able to install the text files? These text files cannot be installed. You need to download it in your software. Carrying lecture. Demonstrate how to assign more than one category. I already demonstrated. Okay, I can do it one more time if you want. Right, I click on this. Right, I say, for example, I click on this, I highlight, I click on passion, mark. Okay, there's a the system crashed. Right, so I can open this. Right, I click on this. Right, See, if I don't save it, this what happens. Test 1, test 2. So if I click on this and I say test, mark it the same amount, I'm also clicking it on test 2. So when I click on test, the data is there. Click on test 2, data is there. Both test 1 and test 2, the same highlighted data is there. So you can do it in 2 categories. We can do third option only. We have coded the option number 1, not necessarily, right? Suppose you click on search, you click on query. Okay, now you don't want to use the coded by, you just use contains word. Multiple words can be used. The search option, you had only one word, you can use it here. Okay, whereas here, you can use multiple words. Okay, say, I can say mom, then I can say that, right? I can use multiple keywords here. There's no problem at all. You can up to 10 keywords, you can use it. Right. Can you say data analysis quality is better in other software besides the functions? As I explained to you, you pay more money, you get more better stuff. Okay. Right. Anything else? Weightage of the sections. I'm not sure what do you mean weightage of the sections. If I'm able to understand, you will not be able to calculate numbers using the software. Okay, when you're talking about numbers, this is against the philosophy of the qualitative research. Whereas R can tell you how many words are being repeated, frequency distributions can be generated, not with left. Right. Okay. Any other new questions? I'll be happy to take it.
Can focus group transcripts with timestamps be analyzed using web?
Okay. The focus group, say for example, if I'm going to do a focus group discussion and I have the transcripts, these transcripts will go as one of the imported files. Okay. Say for example, if you look at this, Bill Gates, Harvard 2007, name of the person, place and location. So focus group discussion, FGD, 1, women, date you can give it. The transcripts are being given. The timestamp, if you're using it as a further analysis, then you use that as a category. Okay. But you cannot say that as a variable in analysis. Okay. Say, for example, how are you? If a person spoke something about A in 5th minute of the conversation, towards the 60th minute of the focus group discussion, is talking about something different about the same theme. If you want to analyze it, you need to create different categories. Then you say that the same person has spoken. So you need to skillfully use the software. The software will not do automatically.
I think that's it, sir.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I would say this tool is a very elementary tool. If you're looking at doing some high-level analysis using R, don't touch this. If you have a lot of qualitative text data, you don't know how to deal with this, you use this tool. If you are able to master this tool, NVO is relatively easy to learn. QDA minor is easy to learn. Max QDA you can learn, right? The logic what you're using for the text file is same for images also, video also, audio file also. So in what you do is you open an image like this and you mark it for a particular code. You mark it for a particular category. Okay, this was the same thing you do with audio files and video files. What you do with the text files, you do the same thing. The automatic thing, okay, I will throw in the data and tell the software, okay, tell me the relation between A and B. That will not do. It will not do things automatically. Okay, there is AI based analysis is not available as of now. It will take time. Yeah. So with this, I will stop and really thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And thank you very much for the wonderful questions. Thank you very much, Deepika.
Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Dr. Lata.
Thank you, Dr. Deepika Rajawat. We sincerely thanks our respected delegate, Professor Ilavasan sir, who took out his valuable time for our webinar. It was such a quite resourceful and wonderful session on WEFT QDA and qualitative software. Till now, we are not much aware about this, but this webinar deeply enriched our understanding on qualitative software. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Over
Thank
to
you,
you,
sir.
Dr. Deepika Rajava.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Lata. Thank you, Professor Vigneshwara. We were delighted to have you with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
thank
have
you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I just wanted to thank him. Yeah, thank you so much, Professor.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
We have with us today another resource person, Mr. Vinay George Biju. Vinay sir, are you with us?
Yeah, am I audible, ma'am?
You are audible, but we cannot see you.
Oh, is it? Turn the video on. Is this not playing right now? Is it okay?
No, we cannot see you. Yes, yes, we can now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
So
shall I start?
I'll just introduce you, sir.
Okay.
We have Mr. Vinay George Biju here with us, faculty at Christ University, Bengaluru, who is a PhD in machine learning in bioinformatics. He also has a passion for data science and artificial intelligence and has been teaching these courses in the university. He has also been a faculty coordinator for international office relations in engineering campus. Over to you, Vinay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and I welcome everyone to the session. Let me share the screen first. Hello?
Yeah.
I have a power outage, like I mentioned before. Anyway, connected through phone. Is this okay?
Yeah, we cannot see your screen. Are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Right.
Yeah, we can see it now. You can do it full screen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just move quickly to what I have planned for the day. So I think sir has already, the previous speaker had already given some insights on R programming. I think so. This is, I should actually tell you that I will actually take this session in for people who are not really good at coding, as well as for people who are already knowing R. So I can look at both angles. So as me being from computer science, it's not always that we computer scientists are also very good at coding, and people who are not good at coding also uses R very extensively, even in the industry for data analytics. And one of the reasons I started using R, like how Deepika ma'am had introduced me, we have been using R for bioinformatics. So always the debate happens, do you want to go with R or Python? Who is in the lead? I should say to a certain extent for computer science related analytics related to image processing or text sentiment analysis or maybe deep learning, Python goes ahead. But R stands out in terms of simplicity, I should say. R is much more simple in terms of the software is too light. I heard some comments like the other day where my software R is a little old. Should I install it again, or can I use it with a fresh installation? So that is the advantage of R, wherein you can quickly uninstall the previous version and actually you install it with the new version. It's fairly easy, and the software is pretty light. to you actually get into the field of R, it is mainly to dealing with statisticians. If in case you are good in statistics, then it becomes much more easier. But anyway, for today's session, more than quantitative analysis, I'm focusing on qualitative data analysis, and this is much to do with text. And I to begin with, I will show you how things are installed. If you are very much in a very introductory mode in this R programming, then I should recommend you to install this R for Windows, or if in case Ubuntu also works fine, Mac also it works fine. And you can actually just type in Google R, install R, and then you get to this link. And so this will be the engine. You just have to click, it's a simple exe file, and you can install that. I have already installed, so I don't want to waste time in installation. So this is how you do it. And you can actually go back to search again for R Studio, and this will be the GUI. And so the graphical user interface for R. And you can install R Studio after you have installed R. And that's also fairly easy. And you can do this two-step process of installation, and then you're good to go. Okay. So since we are from different branches of sciences, I see many people from psychology, social sciences participating in this session. And I belong to computer science. So I have collected a small research survey from Deepika ma'am, and then she was kind enough to give me this to make me understand what normally happens from a social science or psychology perspective. And this is what I have captured here, where you do series of surveys for different people. So for instance, to simplify things, you are taking data about different people, giving different concepts or experiments. So like I say, let each instance is represented by a row, maybe the experiments that you do on different people, and then you write your comments on the experiments, right? So that is what you do. So what I want you to do is either ways, based on the analysis that you want to do or the research question that you have in mind, you can compile these questions, compile these notes that you have made, and you actually can paste it in a notepad. And that's how we're going to start with R now. So that is how it is. So coming back to text analytics in R, these are some of the packages that I'll be using in R. I'll show you how to install a package if you're fairly new to R. Some of the package is TM, Snowball C, word count, color viewer, and all that. So you throughout this session, you will come to know, you will be hearing quite a few number of times about corpus. So in computer science, we deal with text analytics under the study called as natural language processing. So it's a branch of artificial intelligence, and I teach AI in my for undergraduate course and data science for master's courses. So NLP is how we call it. We, rather than qualitative and quantitative, we keep regression and machine learning on one side, and NLP we will keep it as a subset of machine learning or AI. So these are branches of engineering. So text analytics, you actually have to deal a lot with corpus. Corpus is just like a dictionary. So how to build a corpus is done through the packages what we are installing through R. The main package is TM. So it brings the structure for the corpus, and you can actually manage your documents and actually get the keywords out of all the text that you have actually including in your text file. And another package that we'll be using is Snowball C, which uses stemming algorithm. So mainly just I want to get to know the main keywords or root words out of my input, so that I'll actually use that further for my analysis. So getting the root word, or we'll use a stem word, I use a separate package called Snowball C. And finally, the whole analysis actually is done. I think you would have already been using word cloud. So I'll show how to create a word cloud with R. And actually for graphics, we'll actually install this R color viewer. So these are the some of the packages that I use. And in text analytics, the main thought that you'll actually put in is, even in industry, that's the case. Even if you are called as a data scientist in industry, most people work more on pre-processing the data rather than the algorithm. So algorithm we'll use as it is from the package, and you will actually have to fine tune your data based on what you have collected, and actually maybe keep out all some of the unwanted symbols like at the rate or tilde or backslash and all that. And maybe you'll actually have to keep all your stop words out, maybe unwanted spaces. So sometimes you may have to convert everything to lowercase, remove numbers, remove punctuations. So all these are, I'll actually put in under the category of transformation of the text. We cannot just take junk of text and give it to the algorithm and expect wonders to happen. So that's the idea. So that is why we actually have to think of transforming the text or pre-processing, I should say, in this regard. And we'll do that. And we'll actually do text skimming. Like I said, for instance, if I have verbs like moving, moved, movement, so it's a different tenses involved in the same text, and everything should actually come from the main root word move. So that's the main idea of text stemming. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. Some transformations that to actually build. So I made the spell error. That's transforming. Okay, sorry for that. So to carry on with the discussion, what we'll do is we'll get frequency metrics. Like I think Professor Vignesh was talking about using R and creating a turn document metrics or frequency metrics. For instance, in my text that I have actually used in my input, will is actually the highest frequency count for the word clusters that you actually use, and freedom and ring, day, and all that. So you overall you get a summary of the survey that you have done. See, why we are going to use R is, if your survey is just 5 pages, then you can do it manually. What happens if in case you're using survey where you are using maybe 2,000 documents, maybe beyond that, you can't afford to sit from morning to evening to get the summary out of all surveys done by even some other person. If it is your own summary, then you can still make out. If it was some survey done by some other people which you don't know, and then that's going to be a tough job for you to actually figure out what was the real context of the outcome of a survey being carried out. And that's when you can actually use this term document metrics. You can say, okay, people are talking about freedom now. So most of them have, that's the most frequent word, at least coming out after will. Will could also be a keyword that could be used now. So that's one of the main advantage of using turn document metrics. And finally, this is what we're going to do, building a word cloud. And you could see the most frequent word is actually coming in a higher font scale. So you could see freedom, will, dream, ring, day, and all that is actually coming out when compared to other words, which is actually on a smaller font size. So that's the important thing of word cloud. And the best thing about R is you get a lot of online materials. If you ask me how did I learn R, actually nobody taught me. Even if I started using R when R was almost pitching in, when it was not as popular as today. And so there was not enough materials like as we have now. Now there is enough materials online, be it a course from Coursera or EDX, or be it many YouTube tutorials, or even you can get from a lot of information from blog and even textbooks, which is also freely available in many cases. So that's why you don't have to really, if in case you're total new fresher to coding, I'm not saying you'll actually have to code things on your own. There is two difference in coding here. For a computer science person, they won't really appreciate if in case you're using existing packages. When it comes to research, they question whether is it your own package what you're doing, or is it your own logic that you're putting in instead of using a package. So then the real coding is actually coming into play, where you actually have to be good in mathematics, and that is a different scale altogether. So, but when you want to use which is already developed and as a package which can be downloaded, I think even if you are not a good coding guy, or even if you are a person who are not a branch of computer science, from social science, any branch of engineering should be able to use R if you are at least capable of installing things and understand how things are run, or getting used to some syntax. That would be good to go. Okay, so you don't have to be scared that I am going to use only softwares like Vika or maybe other softwares where you click on a button and you get results, and then if in case I want to change something, then I have no clue what to do further. So here you have full flexibility of what is to be done. And anyway, moving further, I can actually perform a plot of frequency of words with a bar plot, and actually you can proceed further. Am I audible? I could see the videos turned off. Is it working fine?
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Okay, okay. Just can interrupt me in between if in case the connection goes interrupted. Fine. So that is all about the initial introduction of R, and there is another method what I'll again focus on, and this is method 2, where I use a different set of packages, and here I use a different form of automatic text classification by clustering. And don't get you should don't be afraid to hear such things. Supervised learning, it's all part of machine learning. It is used in computer science advanced techniques under AI. But you can just use the packages. You don't have to create an algorithm and do things on your own. That is for our job, and it's as a computer scientist's job to do. And you can always use things which is already developed as a package, and actually you can go ahead. So what we'll focus here is actually these are all the packages that I'll actually use. The text is already given in the screen. And I have many clustering algorithms in this package. Here I'm mostly using this package rtext tool to automatic text classification. And you can actually for string manipulation you can actually use this package. We'll use all this, and I'll actually tell why we'll use this idea of term frequency, inverse document frequency. And if in case you once I get to that, I'll explain more on this. Okay, keep this in mind. And finally, this is what you get at the end. Here in the first analysis, like I have only one document. So my whole survey, I'll actually keep it in a single text file. These things are much more simpler. Okay. So my second analysis more to do with when I have multiple documents. What if I have multiple surveys done by multiple people, and then I still have to come up with at least an analysis of the sort. At least in this case, this is all surveys about or comments about different movies. And you could see in this case, Kung Fu Panda is actually grouped together. Ice Age is also grouped to some Ice Age again. So that is grouping two set of documents, and at least the clustering algorithm has actually done a fairly decent job grouping these documents. So put in social sciences analysis, keep it simple. Now how I should explain will be, you have multiple surveys and about multiple communities, and then which surveys will actually come closer to each other, which documents could be clustered together, which document is, which surveys the farther away to another quality of a survey being done. So if you see here a movie reviews called Frozen is very far away to Ice Age. So the comments what is given, the algorithm after creating a tree analysis of clustering before you do generate a corpus and actually fulfill that analysis, you finally you could understand that these two surveys done are totally different from each other. So these are the things what I gonna do. And if time permits, I'll actually show you some other tools which we can use, because my session for the day is basically on R. But some of the tools which I frequently use could also be shared, like R could also be used for regression. What if I have numbers? This is what I do. I work mainly on nonlinear regression, and that is what my PhD is about. And if in case it's a simple regression to start with, that's why I kept a linear regression, and then you can see the density plot if it is fairly following a normal distribution and all that. So this is what the powerful options with R. Again, you can play around with numbers. Why I said numbers is if in case you categorize your survey as maybe how good a student was performing. He was performing good, medium, or a higher level. So then you can categorize these variables, and you can actually further do regression on top of that, finally classify whether the analysis that you're doing was worthwhile or not. So that's kind of special analysis that you can make out, and you can use classification and regression. So people who are enthusiastic about Python, the industry is more welcoming expertise from Python as well than compared to R in computer science field especially. So one good initiative from Google that has come is something called as Colab. Initially, right now, there is a technology called as deep learning, which is more prevalent for text analytics. Deep learning is the main research which is going on right now for under the field of natural language processing. So initially, I require a very huge hardware for things to be run. For instance, I have TensorFlow or PyTorch frameworks For me to run that, I had to buy very expensive laptops with graphics card, and so that it has GPU. Now Google has made it very simple. You can run things on your browser. You don't have to do anything. So you open your Google Drive, click on more, and then you can click on Google Colab, and then you can execute things so easily without any hurdle of installation, and you can carry forward with Colab. So that's also another tool that you can use. TensorFlow is the main library for deep learning. So this is for the advanced learners, those who want to do R and Python together. You can actually go ahead with this TensorFlow framework. Okay, so now you can do a lot of analysis. You can just a lot of absolute error plotting with whether the prediction is lying in the diagonal to see how accurate your analysis and all that. I'll just skip this. Just to introduce the tool is what I was trying to do. Vika is also a very simple tool. Beginners will actually start with Vika. You can do similar analysis with Vika as well. So it is actually coming out from University of Waikato in New Zealand, and you can download this, and it's very easy to use. Our friends from MBA department actually mainly use Vika because it's less coding, and you can see you can do NLP stuff, qualitative and quantitative analysis with this. I do a lot of initial days before coming into R. I have done a lot of quantitative analysis with Vika also. So you'll get all this analysis, kappa statistics, a lot of statistics, all that you can get with Vika too. Okay. So to the last tool that I want to show you is Power BI, because in research, finally, once you don't have enough plots to your research paper, I think sometimes it gets tough to get published. So this is apart from Origin. I'm not talking about Origin here, but apart from Origin for plotting, there is something a Microsoft tool which is called as Power BI. I'll also show this if I have time. So you'll get a lot of interactive plots, variants of plots, and there's a lot of analytics pane included. You can just drag, drop things, and actually use an Excel sheet to actually show this is my input data and all that you can do. And it's fairly easy to use to produce very fancy plots, which you can actually use for your research. So that is my overview of the tools. What I'll do is I'll jump quickly to R. I hope you're able to see the screen.
Okay. Yes, sir, we can see that.
Okay. To begin with, I had told you I'll be using some packages. R Studio console. This is how it will look like. And I hope just a second, Professor Deepika, if in case you can keep that video on, I'll understand that, okay, my network's working fine. When I see no videos there, sometimes I feel, yeah, your video was working fine. Yes, that's good. So if it gets interrupted, I'll know I have some problem with my connection.
Yeah.
Sure, thanks. So I'll go ahead. So this is my R Studio console, and I had asked you to install R first. With the interest of time, I'm not showing about installation. And if in case I have time, I'll show that again. Let me do some reverse engineering so that I don't miss the most important part. And this is how the code is looking like. And don't worry, these codes are all online available. A lot of examples online available on text analytics and what I'm doing. So you will not have any trouble in finding codes online. It's so easy to find. And even if you are not good at coding, at least you can do copy paste, right? So that it's so easy to do. I hope you can do that. And some tools like I have also installed something called as, instead of Notepad, I've used a tool called as Sublime Text. This is much more handy when it comes to handling text when compared to Notepad. So Notepad plus or Sublime Text, you can see the heading here, Sublime Text. It's a free version, you can use that. It is much more user-friendly when compared to normal Notepad. Okay, so before I jump into my analysis, I'll show what my data is somewhat looking like. And this is what my data is looking like. I'll open it in my Sublime Text. And this is like a person doing surveys across, like what I have shared before, what the research from Professor Deepika had come out, where she had done a survey from different students under different experiments. Okay. So there is text for each student. Now you can actually categorize that. The whole idea of research will come into role based on the question that you're posing in, based on your research question that you're posing in. So I categorize all text in like line by line, and then I have one single text file here in this case. Okay, so on single text, and that is now survey done from collectively from maybe 100 students. Now then if it is even 100 or 200 students, then I cannot manually do. Can you just tell me manually from 200 students that means 200 paragraphs coming in, and then you tell me by just maybe pen and paper or maybe just scrolling down, you cannot tell which word is, what is the essence of this survey, what is that standing out. So that is the idea of word cloud now. So I have a single text coming out of different surveys, for example. So this is some sample text what I've actually used here. So now I'll go back to R. So first thing to do is I have to install some packages. So if you are very new to R, just go to Tools, Install Packages, and then you will actually able to install each packages like TM, Snowball, C, and all that. So R packages could be installed from a library called as CRAN. So just type TM, and then you will know that since I have already installed this dataset, it won't come again. So in TM, so TM. So you could see TM package coming in, and there is a lot of other packages. Just click there and just click install. Since I've already installed, I'm not installing it. Make sure you click on install dependencies, so that there is the case that some packages has to depend on some other packages. You don't have to manually install each package, so that install dependencies will take care of that. Likewise, install each package, what I just shown here. I have just given a brief overview in the PPT what each each package was doing. Okay, so how do you run thing is, once you install that, you can just click on this run button, keep a cursor in one of these lines which you want to run, click run, and then you could see the console down that it is, if it is running without any error, it will actually it will go to next console symbol, what you can see on the bottom. Okay. So keep running, and if in case you want to run everything together, select everything together and click run. So you can be a little lethargic in running, if in case you don't want to run line by line. Click everything, and so that means everything has run. Okay. So I'll take the question answer session later, so that if in case I'm getting some questions, I'm not seeing that right now. Let me finish what I plan to do. And you can, I'm not running read lines. This is another way to choose a file. I can choose a file. Maybe if there's a file separately stored in your laptop, then you can do that. That is also an option. The text file where you're saved, you can actually show this while running this command. Or else, if in case you want to take a file directly from internet, for instance, this .txt is available online, you can actually create that. So in R, the notation is, this is an assignment statement, what you see here. So what you see on the right hand side is a command, and the results get stored into this variable. So that is the meaning of, it's an assignment statement, like A equal to B, right? So A equal to B means B is assigned to A. So likewise. So now read lines will actually choose that file, and the whole file will be available in the single variable called text. So that's the idea. Likewise, I can store this complete .txt in this single variable file path, and you need to have internet for this, so that you can fetch the file online. And then you can read the lines, reading line by line from the text file. I've done that now. This is the most complicated part here, which is made very simple. For a computer scientist, they will not encourage to do a single function like this. That is why I will say a social science person can take advantage of. Just simply run this line, and then you have the whole corpus ready for the text what you have already uploaded. Corpus is that dictionary. For NLP or natural language processing, I should have a dictionary in place, which is then only I can actually proceed further for further analysis. So I have the dictionary in place, creating a corpus, and I can just see inspect docs. So if you could see, if I run this command, the whole analysis creating a corpus is available to this variable. You can create your own variable now. It's not necessary that I should write only docs here. You can name with your own name. I can write Vinay here. So then once I've done that, go and do inspect docs, and you could see at least in the console, yeah, it is coming line by line. That is why you can have read lines as a command given before. Now, next step is for transformation. Like I mentioned in my presentation before, I have to keep out all my unnecessary symbols. So in this case, I have backslash, @ You can add your own symbols now. You have a look at your survey and see what garbage has gotten. Maybe people have just given so many exclamation mark or many special symbols. Then that means you'll actually take those out. This is that bunch of code to transform your data. So in R, it is like, this is a function call. If you were a coding guy, then if you have understood C programming, you have functions and to be written as codes. So this is a function name, and then this is actually a separate function for transforming each empty or garbage symbol to a space. So that is what it is doing. So it's a pattern replaced by a space here. So this is my whole pattern. And you could see the the TM map function, which is part of this package, what we have already called before. And you can actually do this. So don't worry about the syntax right now. You don't have to worry about the syntax at this stage if you are a beginner to R. Just follow through what I'm doing. And this full bunch of code is to replace your special characters. So once you've done that, you might get some warning. You can ignore that, no problem. And I'm doing further some more pre-processing to like you can, if in case you have a lot of numbers, you can remove, you want to remove numbers. If you have stop words in English, or if you have any specific keywords in English as blah, blah here and all, right, something, you can write anything. If in case you find, you just have a look at a survey input, and then an expert will be able to let me know that what all words are actually garbage words that you have. You can remove all that, remove punctuations, remove white space. So run that, and I'm just selecting the whole thing. So everything is actually available in this function called as tmap. And you could see after I run each command, it is again updated in that same variable docs. So whole analysis is again updated on that single variable. So you can run that. I done that, and any analysis that you do, you could see the variables available in the global environment on the right-hand side. So you could see those variables coming on the right-hand side. Forget about the plot now, we have not reached there, on which is seen on the bottom. So any analysis done, you could see docs also coming here. So you could understand that it's running fairly well at this stage. And I would actually create a document metrics to get to know what are the most frequent words. So frequency of words is actually understood by metrics. Metrics is, I think, you would have figured out in your 12th standard. It is the same metrics that you're talking about. I had to write higher dimensional metrics. In this case, I will show you in the text file how it is generated after some time. So you just run these set of bunch of code because I'm not going code by code at this stage, but it is still understandable that what am I doing? I'm creating a tone document metrics. I'm actually creating as.metrics format of data frame, and actually I'm just sorting my most frequent words, and I'm updating my data frame. And if you want to see what my output is looking like, you can just click on head D/10, which will give me top 10 most frequent words. Head is actually command to get the top 10 words now. So you could see will is again, as you see in the word cloud, will is most frequent, next is freedom. So maybe from a social science perspective, then you understand the survey, people are talking about more freedom, the survey is about freedom. Maybe then you can exclude a lot of documents which doesn't talk about freedom, for instance, if in case this resource doesn't comes out like that. And once you get a term document metrics, you can actually print a word cloud. So this is the full command for word cloud. Set seed is actually a function to actually replicate your random operation. So what happens if there's a random, if things are taken out randomly, if you want to replicate the same results, and that is why you use set seed. Forget if in case you don't understand what set seed is. It's just to, if in case I want to, it is like for the client, I showed a result today. At home, I worked and I got a result, and I am working on a randomized algorithm. And when I show my client tomorrow, since it's a randomized algorithm, my results should not go different. At least to show the results what I got before, to replicate that, I use a set seed value so that run it again, you get the same result. That's how simplified I can get to explain that. So you could see the word cloud. Word cloud is generated as I have shown you in the slide. So you could see will and freedom is coming out in the higher font. That means the survey is talking more about freedom and all that. Once you actually have stemmed out the keywords from the corpus, it's all doing automatically at this stage. From a computer science guy, they won't accept for a PhD thesis. They will tell what algorithm have you used, what improvisation have you done. For a company perspective or maybe social science perspective, maybe that question won't arise. You have other questions to answer, right? Fine. So you can even find the most frequent terms. Most frequent terms, you can see these are all more frequent terms. In case it gets tough to actually pull out all the words from the word cloud, you can do this most frequent count, or I'd say at least there should be a frequency of 4 for these words to appear again and again to get into the results. Okay. I can even do a correlation of words. What I meant is if I say freedom, what are the most correlated words that are coming at least close to each other in the analysis? I can do find associations with correlation. At least correlation limit is very less. 0.3 is a very high, very less correlation. Correlation is from 0 to 1, right? So 0.89 is like let freedom is actually the word coming close to either. Maybe ring. Then you understand. Okay, freedom. You're talking about ring. Then you will have to find out what this is about from the text. This is a very high correlated keywords coming to this. Sometimes it may not make any sense also. So this is all from the statistical point where results are extracted. Maybe Mississippi, the place you're talking about freedom is Mississippi now. So you get all that analysis just like that. Even if you are talking about 2,000 documents or maybe 1,000 lines of text file, it's just like that. And I can just print the bar plot as well, if in case you want to know the bar plot with the most frequent words. You can see will is on the higher end, and freedom and most of the other words are almost the same scale, and other words are also there on towards the right. Okay, so bar plot. So these are the graphical representations that you can actually get insights from R, and that is my first part of analysis. And second part, coming to clustering. So initially my analysis right now was I have a bunch of survey statements in a single text file, and I want to know that length of text file is so huge. Sometimes your Word notepad cannot handle it. It could be that huge as well, but R will be able to handle it. And you're talking then you're talking about big data analytics in computer science perspective. You're talking about see, if it is why I'm throwing out some keywords like that is what if you have 200 GB of data, 200 GB, your text file is 200 GB. We have data like that for tweets analysis, sentiment analysis. From Twitter, if you want to just analyze data, sometimes there could be 200 GB of data. Then my Word file, I just simply paste your whole content into your text file. This will not even open up. So how do you do analysis? If your survey is 200 GB, how do you go forward? Then in computer science, we have something called as big data frameworks where you can use. You have to depend upon computer science then, but at least you know what to do with such cases. You will actually have to at least other frameworks like Hadoop or maybe Spark technologies built in the same algorithm what I'm talking about. You can run it in a master slave environment, in big data environment. So that is how you do it. If in case I have 200 GB data, then maybe you may have to run it on the cloud like Amazon Web Services. So these are all the options, and just letting you know, I'm not telling you have to do it. At least you can sort your friend's help or maybe an expert help in this regard. At least you know what to do, how to take it forward. If in case your data is just like manageable with your own computer, you just can proceed with what I'm doing right now. You just can play around with your simple notepad, and then you can do what we are doing right now. But what if data is at a huge scale? Then these frameworks you should actually make use of. Okay. So if I want, so my second analysis is a different one. It's not a single text file. If in case this example is about different movies. These are the reviews for different movies like Ice Age. I hope you would have seen, some of you would have seen these movies. Shrek is also a character. Kung Fu Panda, Ice Age, all that. So just these are files. If you can open with Sublime Text, it is also a bunch of text surveys coming out from different people. And here, the maybe for instance, I want to make conclusions that which movies are coming close to each other, what movies are related to each other. So you could ask that, okay, I have surveys collected from maybe 100 people. Which survey are close to? I have 100. I have asked maybe in my class, I have maybe 200 students. I've actually asked them to do a survey, and then whose survey is actually close to each other. That means whose opinions are the same and whose opinions are staying farther away. And that you could do with this analysis with hierarchy of clustering. So clustering is a machine learning algorithm, or is actually a part of artificial intelligence. And it's all very easy at your fingertips now when you run things in R. So because of the package thing, that's why R is so easy. And as you know, R is free. So anybody can reuse the data. That's why so many startup companies, they work on R programming, because R, you need not purchase license like other softwares like SAS. You would have heard about SAS. It's actually a paid software. You don't have to depend on that. R and Python is free. Okay, so I'll do the same installation like I showed you before, tools, install packages, and just type that those keywords what I said, because first time you're going to run in your laptop, these packages won't be installed. You'll actually have to do this manually like what I've shown before. Just type the package here and then you can install proxy and then from CRAN. So CRAN is a repository for our packages. So once you've done that, you can just run all these packages. And if it's all working fine, then you are good to go. You can have downloaded this full set of files from this GitHub. GitHub is an online repository, and just shown the path where my files are existing. So all these files, where is it existing? I showed the path there in the code, and then actually I've created the corpus. What I've just done before, you can just see the summary of the corpus. So you could see all these files. What I've just shown, what I've executed, it has come here on the bottom. Okay. And next thing is I can ignore some of the words because sometimes if your number of documents are pretty much huge, then I can simplify the computation by this step where I say the number of words frequency, if it is less than 1%, then ignore those words. I need not include those keywords which are less frequent. So this is the min-term frequency for the corpus that I've created out of all the input data files. So as in this analysis, you could see the data is in different text file rather than a single text file. It is surveys from different people. So keep all the keywords aside where your frequency is less than 0.01. And sometimes what happens, I'm not interested in keywords which is appearing in more than 50% of the cases across documents. So this is where I want documents which is being very unique. In that case, I'll use this idea of max term frequency across documents. I'm not bothered about frequency. This is based on your research question, but I'll keep it generic at this stage. I'll run this as well so that I keep aside those keywords which are very less frequent. I keep significance for those keywords which are less popular also across the documents. So I want to get some documents which are very unique. That is outcome in this case. And you can run this, the pre-processing step here where before you have done the same. You can use stop words, remove all your stop words. Stop words could be like in English, you have the, is, all that. So many words doesn't add so much meaning to your analysis, right? So those words could be taken out. All these pre-processing will actually help to take all that unnecessary simple words in English, which doesn't act as a root word or stem word. All those things and punctuations and numbers could actually be taken out. And you pass in the min-term frequency, max term frequency, which you can edit based on your research. You can play around with these things. You can change from what happens if I change from 0.1 to 5%. What is the word cloud that is being generated, or the hierarchical clustering, what I'm going to do right now, how's it going to make a difference that time? You can do all that analysis. And once you do that, and you can, one good thing here is you can write your results back as an Excel sheet. So once you have run this command of, I have commented some lines, maybe you can run this later, but it's just sorting these values. That's all we are doing. In our comment is shown as this line. So if you could see this green lines, that means those lines are commented. At this stage, if you want to run, you can run. But for this purpose, it will not add so much of value. That's why I commented, just to show you how comments work. So if you remove your hash symbol, that means the line is active. And if you run, that line will work. If in case you don't want to run, you can comment those lines. In this case, you could run the write.csv. The full CSV, the full results will come as an Excel sheet. You can go back and just open that Excel sheet file here, test. So you could see how R as the same thing could actually be taken to a quantitative analysis now, maybe regression or classification, because I got so many numbers right now, right? Because I was initially only dealing with text. Right now, then I got numbers, frequencies, the term frequencies is in terms of numbers. So what you could see on the left is each row indicates those reviews for each movies, and each column is all about the keywords. So always, agrees. So agrees, if it is agrees, then are you agreeing with maybe the survey that you've done, or maybe like that. It's just now at this stage term frequencies, or you get as a result in an Excel sheet. It's a good way to go. Me more onto quantitative analysis, then I would actually be happy to use this set of data to take further to a classification or regression problem in machine learning or AI. Okay, so that is how write.csv will help. You can also do the same, and the whole code will work for your requirements also. Only thing you have to do is change the input file. That's all. So here I have a lot of input files kept, right? You just have to say change the input files to your input files, and the whole code will work as it is for your research. So you don't have to deal with if you're getting, your mind is going just taking so much twist and turns, seeing all these codes. Don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Simply have to run things. If in case you are very new to coding, no problem at all. Just change that input set of files and run these codes. Many of these codes are still available online. Just have to see, put in data clustering, text analytics with hierarchical clustering. I'll tell you some keywords what you can use in Google to find some blogs and taking input from there. Fine. So don't have to worry too much about the coding at this stage. You just understand what is happening. Same document metrics what you have created, and then you are inspecting the same. You could see some of the terms here. Some of the terms you could see just like I shown in Excel sheet. Almost similar results you could see it in the output window here. Fine. Finally, you can actually create a word cloud. What I've done before here also, you can do that word cloud here. And okay, you might get this error sometimes. What happens is permission denied. What you have to do is you just have to go and close that test file, because what R is trying to do is trying to save the file in an Excel sheet, but since it is already open, it's not able to write. That's the reason. So you close that Excel sheet and then run again, and then if everything works fine, you open the test.csv, you will get that results again. So here we have actually given some constraints to word cloud. I would say if in case your word cloud is bursting out with so many words, you can say maximum words is 20 is what I want. And then you can actually run your word cloud again with a different set of words. You will see, okay, I got a different set of words now as the output on the right. You could understand that most of the keywords frequency from the document metrics is coming out as Dory. Okay, so all these things will actually make sense based on the survey what you do. At this stage, this is actually a survey about movies, and then actually you're talking about a single movie. Everybody is talking about the same movie. So if you could see the movie names, Finding Dory is one movie. So you could see most of the survey is actually coming frequent for about this movie. So then you can think of, okay, what's so special about this movie now? So different analysis can be initiated from the analysis that you do. Different questions can come out. Your research question can be again fine-tweaked.
Pardon, Vinay.
Yes.
Sorry, can I interrupt you,
Okay.
Vinay? How much more time are we going to take?
Yeah, I'll keep it. I'm done. I just need a hierarchical clustering, and then we are done. And then I'll just show quickly about the other tools. It will just take 2 minutes, and we are done then.
We'll have some Q&A round.
Yes. Just I'll take only 5 more minutes to finish the whole thing. So now you could see once I've done that, you can do a technique called as hierarchical clustering, and with the document metrics what you have created. And clustering has different similarity measures. I posted 2 similarity measures here, Euclidean and cosine. And you just simply run this now at this stage to see how your clustering looks like. I'll just let you know what it is. You could see that clustering, what I just told you before. See the difference now. I have you will get different results based on different similarity measures. In this case, when I used a Euclidean distance metric, I could see all at least Kung Fu Panda is separated. At least this Kung Fu Panda has come out separated based on the other 2. See if in case you get a different results when you change the distance metric from Euclidean to cosine. For that, like I said, you just have to comment this line and keep the other line uncommented. That means I'm going to use this line. So this is the distance metric in hierarchical clustering. Distance metric is just nothing much as how close these documents should be based on the root words or stem words that has been extracted out of the corpus. So once I can rerun the whole thing with a different distance metric and see if in case you get a different results for movies, and you might get, and you could see at least now Kung Fu Panda came together. Okay, so you can actually make some analysis with different distance metric. Euclidean and cosines are most prominent ones. There are other different similarity measures as well. From a computer science point of view, there are different similarity measures. That is a point of research under clustering. What similarity measures should you use? Or can you again improve your Euclidean distance as a similarity measure? So that's all the analysis that you can do. That is what I wanted to show things about R. Other tools, what I just showed you before was the Power BI. You could see, create interactive plots. You could see sales by region. If you click, I could see the other plots also changing invariably based on this. You call this interactive plotting. And you could use this tool. This is also a very easy tool to learn. Power BI, because I just want to show you some of the tools which I found really exciting and which I've been using recently. That is and maybe the Google Colab, what I just showed before. It is this. You can run Python code now in the browser. You don't have to install Anaconda or very large softwares for running Python. So thanks to Google, now you can run Python code. So this is a deep learning framework. You just need to open your Google Drive. Just open your Google Drive, and you're good to go. Just click new, and then click more, and you could see here Colab. So you click that, and you are very easily you can start your Python code. And that is what I shown here. One of the Python code, what is shown here for regression. Anyway, it is quantitative. It is out of scope for the session. But I just want to show you this so that TensorFlow is the deep learning package. This is for advanced analytics in text. So you can do that, and regression, many things you can do. You get very good plot from Seaborn package and all that. You can try many things. If you want to take it a little step ahead and play around with how computer science guys do, you can do all that. And this is about deep learning now, but I don't want to touch anything about that. But just I want to show that how Python could be used as well. And lastly, Vika is what I just want to show. We're in actually 1 second. I shown Vika, right? So this is Vika tool from University of Waikato, New Zealand. And you can just, there's a lot of data available in this as well. It's also like you can cluster, classify, just it's button click tool. It's so easy to use. I'm not going to show this anything on this right now, but I just want to introduce to the tool. You can experiment on this further. There is a lot of tutorials available in YouTube and other online blogs and all that. Okay, thank you. Then I think I'm done with the session. I can take some questions.
You would like our help, or you'll read out the
I'll
questions?
just see if in case, since there is always some gap between the two branch of sciences, social sciences and psychology and computer science, maybe to the level of extent which I can answer, I will pick some questions from there.
Yes.
Okay, some question. Is it language friendly or only on English? So it's all depend on the corpus. One of the questions is that can I only work in English? No, it's not that. Much of our PhD work is happening in NLP. So we call it NLP, natural language processing, machine translation. Most of the people, even nearby colleges or even in our own university, they are trying to translate Kannada to English. So you need the corpus for it, and there are available corpus from maybe Stanford. One of the best corpus available is from Stanford. You can use that, download it using your Python learning kit. And maybe Chinese to English. There are different corpus available based on your corpus. This package, what I use in ours for the corpus for English. So if you have a corpus for different language, you are definitely good to go. The algorithm is all same. Clustering, you can use the same thing. And the word cloud is all the same analysis that you can do. Yes, audio files. Then I would say try to start. One question is, what are the softwares available for converting audio files to text files? I would say start with Python. And then if you are trying to play with video and audio more than R, then I would suggest Python. There is NLTK library, which is Natural Language Processing Toolkit library in Python. And there is maybe some of the student projects that you have done is for text files. And I would not be able to show all these things right now, but I can only give directions at this stage. I should recommend you to actually do deep learning, take a course on deep learning with Python. That is the trend right now. You can actually play around with audio files as well. Okay, so one another simple question is, can we convert PDF to text? And yes, you can. You can do all that. So I do PDF to Word converter online. Just put your PDF, and then you have everything in Word. Copy that into and make it a .txt file, and you can do the same set of research what I'm talking about. Okay, one person is talking. I am not an ethics person, so I will not be able to talk about anything on ethics. Ethics is another branch in computer science itself on cyber security, ethics, and all that. So, based on the expertise at this stage, what I would tell you is, you're talking about ethics, and your survey is about ethics, right? So, what I do is, what I will do without knowing anything about the field, what I will do is I just collect the surveys as it is. And in this case, I have actually given the keyword as freedom. And you just pop out all those keywords related to ethics and actually put it in the code. And then you will get a different word cloud, and histograms related to the keywords that you put in. So anything related to ethics, you put it as a keyword, and then you are good to go. The same algorithm will work there as well. Okay. Much more sociology related things, you may have to talk to another expert, but the same tool and same workflow could be followed. Okay. So family, that's what I'm saying. I'm just repeating the same. I think we have some more question on ethics. So family, ethics and all that. What I'm telling you is collect the data related to what you're talking about, and then do follow the same workflow. Instead of freedom, you just can actually categorize those variables out of that, and you'll get different word cloud. Since you are an expert, you will get related to questions on that. Okay, some more questions. RStudio Cloud is also working the same manner. Yes. RStudio Cloud all will be paid versions. RStudio Cloud will be paid versions. RStudio Desktop is free. You can download in your laptop, and it's all very light softwares, and you can use that. Kindly focus on clustering in R. That is what I did as quickly as possible. Clustering itself is a branch of machine learning and computer science. If you ask me, I need at least another session on clustering alone. So that is all about. Okay, another question. I want to do PhD in computational theoretical chemistry. So it is not part of the session, but anyway, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm using docking softwares like I'm actually using like Autodoc Vina and on the Chimera platform. So drug-related study with the protein study, I interact and I get numbers out of it. And those numbers I try to do analysis, quantitative analysis with R to see how feasible this drug is interacting with the protein. So I can do with R itself on the machine learning or AI part, and other software part, you can actually use Schrodinger, or you can use Discovery Studio and all that you can use. Take
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Vinay sir, when you were explaining R, so if we see for the social science person or when we are doing qualitative text analysis, so basically it can be used for clustering, then cloud analysis, then comparison of the text, like which words are closer and which are farther.
Yes.
So graphical formations for that is converting the text into graphical formations, and maybe the comparison of text. So all this can be done. But is it also useful in identifying the related words, like, and then coding, which is done through web, and classifying the words? Can we do that same with this?
That's what. Whenever you talk about classification, then I'll have to get into quantitative analysis, because once I showed you an Excel sheet where I had a document term metrics right before. Yeah. So I will take it forward from there, because now I need to understand. I just showed you which set of words are correlated. That is what we have done now. But more than correlation, a lot of statistical analytics could be done. And maybe I could actually again classify all set of documents. I can add a new class value here. I could say maybe all the set of surveys are under the class of sports. Okay. So again, I can categorize another set of surveys, maybe on the basis of maybe linguistic study, maybe non-English. So what are the survey opinions? So when I have classes added at the end, then I want to see what keywords are actually playing a role on those classes. Then those, again, AI machine learning on classification algorithms will come. So we have a bunch of algorithms. If in case I can show you some in Python, you can. If in case it is R, you can type caret package. Then it will actually be an answer to what I am saying, since I am talking about R.
So we have to be thorough with the algorithm when we are working with
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah, so we
it
need
is
to
like
know
carrot
those terms
package.
which you introduced.
Yes,
We
yes,
need to
yes.
know those terms.
So this
Thanks.
is package what you can try, carrot, and then you can actually proceed further for your. It's all easy to use. Just install and you're good to go. How I've been using so far, the same way I'm using, you'll get a workflow online. You can proceed further with that. So this is the carrot package. In Python, you have something called as scikit-learn. Just simply type in Google scikit-learn. There's a bunch of algorithms there. So you can take your document term metrics further for further analysis on this. So this is the scikit-learn packages for machine learning. There is so much there. There's so much. The only thing you'll actually have to understand what is to be used. So it's not deep learning. This is in machine learning itself.
Yeah.
But machine learning in NLP, you can take for the analysis of that angle now.
Okay. Okay, Vinay, can we wrap up the Q&A round? So.
Yes, I think I've almost done with my queries.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinay. Now I'll hand it over to Dr. Lata Pandey.
Thanks, Dr. Deepika Rajawat. Thanks also to Dr. Vinay George, whose detailed explanation of our software has enabled us to grasp it so well in such a short time. Thank you, sir, for your skill and contribution. At the end, on the behalf of entire IUCTE team, I would like to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor R.C. Patel, sir, for his relentless encouragement, dynamic leadership, and for providing us an opportunity to organize this event. Next, I would like to acknowledge the tremendous support to this webinar by the ever graceful Professor Sujata Shrivastava, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It has been a great help. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Deepika Rajawat.
Deepika, before you come, I would also like to thank Dr. Vinay. Dr. Vinay, thank you so much coming, taking time off your heavy schedule. And I've heard a lot about Christ University, and hopefully one day I shall visit it. I've heard a lot about Christ University in Bangalore. And thank you so much for contributing and giving us your very valuable time. Over to Deepika.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Sujata ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Vinay and Dr. Ilavarsan and Dr. Lata. Now we'll be meeting again tomorrow. This is for the participants. Again, 3 o'clock, the session, there'll be just one session tomorrow, and that would consist of en vivo and deduce. So that's it. Thank you for today. And thank you, Vinay, again. Bye.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye, Vinay.